Guatemala is the kind of Central American country that used to be called a banana republic before people started talking about wars of national liberation.
In 1931, a dictator by the name of Jorge Ubico took power. Ubico was a very strong American ally. The reason he was such a precious asset to the Americans is because he allowed US corporations to do pretty much whatever they wanted in his country. And that brings us to the United Fruit Company. By that point, the United Fruit Company, along with the rest of the white landowning elite, had amassed and hoarded so much arable land that the broader population had grown overwhelmingly fed up with the oligarchy. In addition to monopolizing Guatemalan banana exports, they owned telephone and telegraph facilities. A subsidiary of the company owned almost all the railroads in Guatemala, and United Fruit had control over the country's only Atlantic harbor. By the time the 1951 Guatemalan elections came around, Captain Jacobo Arbenz decided to run for president. He was somewhat of a Guatemalan hero at the time, so he won the presidency with a comfortable majority. Although he worked with communists and his wife was seemingly drawn to leftist ideas, he himself was not a communist. But that did not stop the US from painting him as a full-blown Soviet puppet in order to justify what they were about to do to his country. Under Arbenz, Guatemala constructed an Atlantic port and a highway to compete with United Fruit's holdings, and built a hydroelectric plant to offer cheaper energy than the US-controlled electricity monopoly. In 1953, the CIA started reaching out to right-wing officers in the Guatemalan military and began supplying them with funds and weapons. The US decided on a man named Carlos Castillo Armas to lead the coup against Arbenz and succeed him as the leader of Guatemala. As rebel forces were preparing themselves in Nicaragua, Castillo Armas was forming a rebel army of his own in Honduras with the support and backing of the US. United Fruit also joined in, spreading gruesome photos of unidentified bodies, which they falsely claimed were the fault of Arbenz. As the US-backed rebels led by Castillo Armas crossed into Guatemala from the surrounding Central American countries, American planes dropped bombs on Guatemala and machine-gunned infrastructure in the attempt to force Arbenz's abdication. The overthrow of Arbenz helped lead Guatemala into a bloody and brutal civil war that killed hundreds of thousands of people. Arbenz's land reform program was reversed, and United Fruit benefited greatly from this.